It is the Big Show Nerds Extravaganza! Okay, sorry, I don't know where that came from. Hello, Big Show Nerds. Thank you for joining me on today's episode of the Nerd News Headlines. Sorry, it's the first day with the new tongue. It doesn't know what it's going. So yeah, all of the news, all of the things, super excited. We have a rumor mill that I think is going to... Half of it is going to be pretty freaking awesome, and the other half of it is going to definitely be pretty divisive. So, if you are curious about the potential upcoming things, because they are rumors for a reason, then definitely stick around for the end of the episode. Before we jump into the intro, don't forget to subscribe if you have not already, because this place is about to get hopping. I keep saying that, and I don't think you guys are taking me seriously, but all of the stuff on Big Show Entertainment Network, as well as our parent company, Black Lion Endeavors, a lot of stuff is about to jump off. So jump in early so that you can be part of the ride from the beginning. And now we're going to hit an intro. TV streaming. So yeah, TV streaming, we do have a follow-up as well as a correction. So the follow-up will be on Invincible. We've talked about this previously. Robert Kirkman's animated series that's coming to Amazon Prime now has a release date, and that is March 26th. It will release 3 episodes on that day, and then it'll be 1 episode a week every Friday until April 30th. You can go check out the new trailer if you follow the link in the description, in the show notes, or wherever you're watching or listening to the episode. And then the one correction that I have, I totally misspoke. I said Mephistopheles when talking about WandaVision, the potential villain for the series. I meant to say Mephisto. So I apologize, because I'm not even sure if Mephistopheles is a character in Marvel. That's totally a biblical name, though. Whatever. I apologize. I'm dumb. Sometimes I take poor notes. We're moving on. We are moving right into our first actual piece of news for TV streaming, and that is Monsters at Work. This is one that I think slipped through my radar because I don't remember it, but apparently it's been a thing since like 2016, 2017, somewhere in that neighborhood. This is the continuation of the Monsters, Inc. storyline from Pixar. There is active production going on right now that is bringing back Billy Crystal and John Goodman to play their original parts. Mike Wazowski and Sully, the big furry monster. They are coming back. They are doing voices. According to Billy Crystal, talking with Collider, it is being worked on, and it will be done soon-ish, assuming they can continue work, you know, what with the pandemic and all. So that's pretty freaking awesome. I really want to see what happens with this. Obviously, it's going to be on Disney Plus. Obviously, it's going to be Disney Plus kids safe kind of stuff. So, but either way, Monsters Inc. is probably my favorite Pixar movie, and this is nothing but good news. Moving on to our final piece. This is another sad note because we just can't stop losing people, and it sucks, but it is what it is. Larry King this past week has passed on. He was 87 years old. I could not find 100% confirmation on the cause of death. I did try pretty much all of my sources, and they all were just talking about his storied career, which was amazing. And the man was a phenomenal interviewer and just a great newsman in general. And the closest I got was it sounded like it was, in fact, virus. It's COVID specifically, COVID related. So that really freaking sucks. If you are of the younger side of the millennial generation or Gen Z and you don't know who Larry King was, then you need to do a little bit of research, because the guy, he's kind of proto Joe Rogan in that he just opened people up when he interviewed them, because he didn't really interview them. He had a conversation conversation with them. And in the course of that conversation, a lot of great stuff came out because they weren't afraid of him. Because it's a whole thing. Larry King was amazing. We're going to take a moment and remember the man, the legend, Larry King. And sadly, that is the end of TV streaming. All right, Rumor Mill, let's hit it hard. So first up is going to be kind of a divisive one, but one that I think most nerds are going to be excited about, because you can separate an artist from the art, because you're intelligent people, and yeah. So Harry Potter is rumored. Anyone who's reporting on this as fact is lying to you. Harry Potter is rumored to be getting a live-action series on HBO Max. This has come from a number of sources over the past few months, over the past year to 2 years, actually. And now the Hollywood Reporter is getting in on the game, so the profile of this rumor has elevated exponentially because of that. So Harry Potter live action, HBO Max, there is nothing attached to this rumor that says that the original cast is going to be returning for it. There are rumors, though, about the screen adaptation of The Cursed Child, which is the Broadway play, or the musical, I guess, the stage play, that is potentially going to get movie treatment, and that is where the original cast is rumored to be going back, which we've already talked about that rumor. We're not talking about that now. So this being a series set in the world of J.K. Rowling makes a little bit more sense than saying that they're just going to bring back all of the characters we already know, because then that would definitely not be happening. This seems slightly more possible. The only thing that I can think of that would go against this, because again, they are trying to get as much content as possible for streaming services. The only thing I can think that goes against this is back in when Harry Potter came to its finalization, when it came to its completion, JK said that she was going to make it so that you could not create more Harry Potter specific content. So if this is a live action TV series that is Harry Potter, that seems potentially not super likely. But then something like Fantastic Beasts happens, and it's not technically Harry Potter, but it is still that same wizarding world. So that kind of, she likes money too much. I don't think my reasoning against this holds a whole lot of water. I am putting this at a pretty high 75%. If we can get another good source, like if Deadline starts reporting on this, then it'll bump that up to almost 90 or above. But right as it stands right now, because we have a bunch of small sources and one huge source, we're giving it a 75% chance. Monarch is the next one, also HBO Max. Monarch, again, this is a Godzilla-related property. Monarch is getting according to the rumor, is getting a live-action series as well over on HBO Max. This will be the company the shady corporation that is associated with both Godzilla and King Kong, and kind of no real details as to what's going to happen. Everything's kind of been conjecture, but there is the rumor from a number of sources saying that they're working on that behind the scenes. This one seems less likely than the Harry Potter one, because there is Toho to consider, and Toho only gave legendary Warner Brothers a contract for so much that they could do with those properties. I'm pretty sure, I don't know that for 100%, but I'm pretty sure Monarch is a Toho property, so that would be part of the Godzilla King Kong contract, which they are coming to an end with the Godzilla vs. Kong movie. So that one's less likely. I'm going to put that at about 50%. For all of the same reasons are going for it, like the Harry Potter one. You know, it's a popular IP. They are looking to make as much content as freaking possible, so all of that stuff kind of goes towards it, but Toho is going to be a really big roadblock. So 50% there. Thanos is our next rumor. Thanos is returning to the MCU. I think that's kind of a duh situation. Let me explain why. So there's numerous rumors saying that Thanos is going to come back as a villain. that I can almost say 100% is not going to happen. If I were to put an actual percentage of likelihood that it would happen, I would say 10 to 15% that we will see Thanos as the big bad, because that's just silly. We've killed him twice at this point. I don't want to see him on screen again unless it's like comic booky stuff and he becomes part of a team, or like there's a number of ways to do that well. I don't think that any of the rumors are lining any of those ways up. What I think this rumor is actually based on is Eternals. Those of you who read the comic books know that Thanos is a combination of the Eternals and, I just brain farted the other, whatever. So he's part Eternal at the very least. And if I can think of the word that I'm trying to remember that's the other part of him, I'll put it on the screen or put it in the notes or whatever. But either way, because we know the Eternals movie's being made, I feel like I've even already covered this. Because we know the Eternals movie's being made, it stands to reason that we will see Thanos to some degree in that movie. Will we see him outside of that movie going forward? Very likely not. Unless, again, they because of the way Disney Marvel is moving, they're not really recasting roles. They're just bringing in new characters, which is fine because they have a bunch of characters to go through. So the likelihood that we will see Thanos at all again in the MCU stands pretty strong, about 90%. I would be surprised if we didn't see Thanos in the Eternals movie. Will he be a major villain, a major player at all going forward? No, 10% on that one. All right, so moving right along, we're talking Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic. We did get the news that Lucasfilm Games does exist again a couple of episodes ago. And now the inevitable rumor is that Knights of the Republic 3 is coming through someone that is not BioWare or Ubisoft, but a different developer. The rumor was not specific beyond saying it was not going to be BioWare or Ubisoft. So I feel like being that specific. Ubisoft seems like a reasonable studio that they would use, but there are plenty of other studios out there, so it is what it is. I think that it's much too early in the life cycle of Lucasfilm Games to be saying anything is for certain aside from what they have already announced, because there's no job listings for this, there's no contracts that have been leaked, nothing like that. So I can't go above 50%. I also am not going to go above 40% because, again, Lucasfilm Games is not going to roll out with 17 games out the gate. They've already kind of made known that they're working on about 5, and I feel like that's probably a pretty decent limit for a rollout of a company. So because of that reason, I'm putting this at about 40%, that we are currently in a Knights of the Old Republic production cycle. Is that to say that we won't see a third game in the franchise? No, I think we will. I just think we're about 5-7 years away from seeing it. Oh, and then we have an inevitable, because Johnny Depp and because Tim Burton have been in the rumor mill for so long, so heavily recently. This one was kind of inevitable. Beetlejuice 2 is being rumored to be a thing again. Now, the rumors are going so far to say that Michael Keaton has signed on and Tim Burton is considering Johnny Depp for a role, which we're not going to cover that part of the rumor because that's kind of a whole separate rumor, and that's rumor dependent on a rumor and blah, blah, blah. So, Beetlejuice 2 and Michael Keaton. Those are two separate rumors. Beetlejuice 2 being in the works, it's kind of been in the works for a couple of decades at this point. So, yeah, you can safely say that somewhere there exists a script that could be a spec script, that could be somebody trying to sell it to a theater, that could be somebody trying to sell it to Tim Burton. Yeah, I think that exists. About 90% possibility that there is a script for Beetlejuice 2. 90% possibility that somebody wants to make a Beetlejuice 2. Now, as far as Tim Burton and Michael Keaton are concerned, I think Tim Burton's going to be a harder sell than Michael Keaton. I think Michael Keaton, as long as Tim Burton signs on, he'll be there with bells on. So likelihood that that part of this rumor is true, I'm going to say probably 25%. I just don't... It's been kicking around for so long, I don't think it's ever going to happen. But... considering these new sources, considering a couple other things, I'll give it, again, a quarter situation. So we have 25% there. Our next piece, we're going back over to Star Wars. This time it is a new movie. No word as to who's going to be in charge of it, just that it is somewhere in the development stage, and that is that we're going to get a full-blown actual comedy movie in the Star Wars universe. So not an action-adventure, not a crazy space saga, nothing like that. It's just a comedy with lightsabers. I think this is a ridiculous rumor. I think there's too much that goes against this as far as what the landscape is for the Disney Star Wars situation right now. It would be a hilarious thumb in the eye of all the people who said that the Disney Star Wars movies are too funny. They take too much from the MCU playbook, and they're just too many jokes per minute, and blah 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 blah. But I just... Beyond that, the plate of Lucasfilm is so full that unless this is the Taika Waititi project, which this rumor does not mention his name at all, I can't buy it. So we're going to put this at about 10%. Straight up comedy movie? No, not freaking likely. Our next one has to do with Mortal Kombat, and this is my favorite rumor for the episode. This Mortal Kombat rumor is kind of awesome. So fans in the Mortal Kombat community have been speculating for quite some time who this Cole Young character could be, because he's not part of mythology, and we keep getting word from the author, the scriptwriter rather, from everyone involved with the production that this is going to be so great for the fans. The fans are going to love it, blah, 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 blah. But if you're going to add a character to the lore, then that's going to piss fans off. We know this from every other time this has happened in Hollywood whenever they're adapting something that has a pretty solid and hardcore fan base. So people are saying, well, then he must not be a new character. This must just be a new way of introducing a character we already know. Number of rumors are kicking around that Cole Young is Johnny Cage, because there is no Johnny Cage listed in the cast listing so far. He could be... I forget what they all are. Johnny Cage is the one that I've heard the most, but then I just heard from a brand new source, so it's going to be pretty low likelihood, but it's interesting to think about. I just heard a really interesting rumor that Cole Young is actually going to be Kuai Liang. Now, let me give you a little bit of Mortal Kombat mythology to keep you up as to why that's significant. In the original mythology, and also in the new rebooted mythology in the video games, Kuai Liang is the name of the second Sub-Zero, the little brother to the man who showed up in the blue costume for the first game, or in Mortal Kombat 9. And the original Sub-Zero, his name is Bi-Han. He is killed throughout the course of the first tournament and comes back as Noob Saibot. So it's very interesting, because they keep saying in all of the promotional materials that Cole Young does not know his heritage, doesn't know where he comes from, doesn't know his heritage. So it's not a drastic departure if you were to separate the two Sub-Zeros as young children. Kuai Liang gets removed from the Lin Kuei clan, sent somewhere to foster parents somehow that maintains honor for his family, so somehow in secret, and learns of his cryomancy powers and then becomes Sub-Zero through the course of that first movie. I think that is phenomenal if that is the direction they're going to be taking this, because Cole Young is an Asian American actor. I can't think of the Louis Tan, I think is his name. So that already kind of takes Johnny Cage out of the equation, because Johnny Cage is supposed to be a caricature of caricature of Jean-Claude Van Damme, but really he's become this Americanized action movie star who's just this kind of jerk. So having an Asian American play that would kind of go against current narratives and for no good reason. They would just be pissing people off just to piss people off. So I think this is a great mental exercise to think about. I really can't see any reason to believe it, though, aside from what I really, really want. So likelihood that Cole Young in Mortal Kombat is going to be actually Kuai Liang or Sub-Zero of some kind. We're going to put that at about 25% as well, because again, it's great to think about and I want it to happen. So I'm probably giving it a little bit more credence than it's really worth. But there you go. And then our final piece of rumor, we're going back over to Star Wars. This time is going to piss people off if it's true. We're going Star Wars. Obi-Wan is the series that this rumor is based in. And in a world that is full of pandemic and every content creator is looking for more stuff to jam into their streaming service, Disney Plus brings us the return of Jar Jar Binks. What? There's a rumor saying that there is going to be more than just a cameo, more than just a background, like blip and you miss it kind of thing. Jar Jar Binks is going to have a minor, but still some sort of bearing on the story of the single series that we know is going to be Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan, we absolutely know is going to be approximately 6 to 8 episodes, and that's it. It's going to link the prequel trilogy to the Holy Trilogy, and that is the purpose that it serves. So this rumor putting Jar Jar into, oh boy, I hope it's not true. I don't hate the character of Jar Jar Binks, but I think if we only have 6 hours, potentially 8 hours with this character in the world that we already love, I think that is a waste of time. So I hope it is not correct. This is from a pretty weak source. So we're putting this one at 20% because there is kind of kids that are a little bit younger than me, younger millennials, if you will, who really liked Jar Jar Binks. I know that sounds like a weird thing to say in a nerd community, but it is a fact. It is a true thing to say. So I can't go lower than 20% because of that, because Disney is not stupid. I just hope if it is true that they find some better way to bring that character in. But that, guys, is all we have for rumors. That does it for this episode of Nerd News Headlines. Thank you very much for joining me. If you want to go deeper into the nerd news, you want to get more generally nerdy information, then you can join me on my personal YouTube channel, Generally Nerdy. Don't forget, while you're here, though, to like, subscribe, and share on all of the Big Show Entertainment Media platforms. Go check out BlackLionEndeavorsCorporation.com. Subscribe to all of the stuff that we offer, Facebook, YouTube, all of the things, especially the YouTube, because we are still doing the push for 1,000 so that we can give away a PlayStation 5 to one of our subscribers. Thank you once again, guys, and I will see you in the next one. But don't forget to return because we are talking about all of the nerd news.